Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
They washed one side of the tarp, really?
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
What do you mean? Huh? The blood was camouflage?
What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
Well, who could have possibly done that? At this point, it's literally impossible that I'm the killer, right? Because either way, I would have needed to manipulate that later. Right, because I'm accounted for between 7:30 and 9, which is when you would have had to like remove the tarp and put the blood on.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
Nurse's office.
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Oh, the chicken! We got the blood from right there in the garden, right? Which must mean, no, they sacrificed the chicken. They actually sacrificed the chicken, like with a knife and everything.
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5 chickens. But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood?
Yeah. Which now the suspects have to either Tucker or Kyoko, right? For this specific act.
Man, that's messed up.
And that explains why we had... Well, I guess her just discovering the body also would explain it. Never mind.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
Could be.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I guess.
I think so. Wait.
Oh.
No. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
It's backwards.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they'd already covered in blood.
So very premeditated then.
This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
Yep.
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Really?
Huh? They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body.
True. But they still would have had to go there.
They'd be done in no time.
Saying it was Toko.
Maybe, but still.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Are you still putting this on me? Boy!
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Kyoko!
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
And the suspicion falls back on me again. Why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? Don't understand. Disguised dead body has been added to the Truth Bolt section of your handbook.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Really?
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
Okay, here comes the knife. Exactly what someone would do if they were trying to frame me, by the way.
One we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it? We can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. I don't know what she might do. I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Kyoko. Kyoko! Oh. You know, was she framing me all the way back then? No, no! Me?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer. Fragments, maybe?
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's
Yeah.
no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
I used that knife to kill Makoto. No, there's no way.
The knife we found
Nice,
lodged in
and
the
the body
dead
was found.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid.
I don't get what exactly. So what are the exact details on our disguised dead body thing? Murder took place before the sprinklers turned on. The suspect covered in blood with a tarp to prevent getting wet. Later, when they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. This jacket had previously been treated with blood to make it look like the corpse had been wearing it. Okay. Victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. Also been struck with something in the head. Okay. So what do we have here?
He did have that
Exploded
knife
body
before,
analysis.
and
Fragments near the body. When the body is
Makoto
found.
did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
How could I contradict these?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
And that's accurate.
So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
So the only thing we have is like Makoto's knife and getting stabbed, both of which are accurate statements.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
Gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid.
Fragments exploded.
If he did have that knife
Disguised.
before,
Maybe
then
Wind was found? Do we have further details on this? Makoto wakes up. Makoto and Dori arrive. Makoto meets others at the gym. Toko is told to find the pickaxe, where she discovers the body.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
No, I'm pretty sure the Monokuma file said it was a knife, right? The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife. I guess it doesn't specifically say that was the cause of death. Technically. But what evidence can we present that proves it? Do we have the Monokuma files evidence here? We got the exploded body, the body before the explosion, the Dissect. We don't have the Monokuma files
that knife
evidence.
of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Well, I'm aware of the second thing, but again, I don't have the Monokuma files evidence I can present here.
It's the same one we gave
So I
to
can't use the
Makoto.
Monokuma files evidence, even if that's what we're going for.
I was
When the body
afraid.
was found, disguised dead body, body before the
He
explosion.
did have that knife before.
Exploded body analysis, is that what we're going for? Explosion, upper half, on fire. No, that doesn't help us at all. The body before explosion, right? This is the detail we'd be looking at. Corpse had a mask covering its head with a white jacket covered in blood. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen, and there were blood stains around the wound. The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet. It was noted, however, that there was no blood on the ground around the body. Again, none of that disproves the stabbing. Right? The Monokuma file might, right? We could draw some doubt on whether or not the stabbing was actually the cause of death. But that doesn't even really matter much because it's still my knife. Took place just covered in tarp.
That seals it. Makoto did it.
Fragments.
Because I had the knife
Okay, so it's
once,
definitely not the exploded body. It's not body.
automatically
It's not.
makes me the killer?
You have so many descriptions of the body.
Stab is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man he was.
Fragments. What does fragments tell us? There were bits of charred debris near the body. She noted that the bomb, which had been removed from the Monokuma in the gym, had disappeared. Shift blame to the metal pipe. Sure. But none of the evidence I have even make mention of that I can use here, specifically.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
Gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question.
But getting stabbed doesn't contradict the knife I gave to Makoto. The knife I gave to Makoto doesn't contradict getting stabbed, so it can't be this. It has to be the actual evidence, right?
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
Like, I've got ways to logically defend against this. Hard to put a jacket on if the knife is in the body already. It has to be a disguise. Well, we already established the jacket went on after. That doesn't necessarily mean the knife... And you could have just stabbed the same wound again. That's pretty easy to do. I don't think that disproves anything in and of itself. And I guess we probably have to draw it out on the stab as cause of death. What does this say precisely? The murder took place before the sprinklers turned on. The suspect covered the body with a tarp to prevent it from getting wet. Later, when they removed the tarp, the suspect placed the white jacket on the body. This jacket had previously been treated with blood to make it look like the corpse had been wearing it. And I guess it's probably worth at least trying this. Say, oh, the jacket's on backwards, so therefore this couldn't have possibly missed out. And I don't think that in and of itself really actually disproves anything, but it's maybe gets us along the right line to try this.
I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
But again, it doesn't really disprove anything. Never mind.
No, it's wrong.
Like, even of itself it doesn't. Maybe we go somewhere with this.
Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
Lies! We never talked about what killed her.
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it, right? In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot. No, there's no way that's possible. Is this where we bring in the Monokuma file? Or the Monokuma file specifically says one stab? Stabbed a single time with a knife? Okay. Okay, I mean... I guess here's where I got a hang up here. I wouldn't personally consider a stab, take out, then reinsertion into the same wound to be two stabs. I would consider that one stab. But I guess technically you could say that's two stabs.
I got it! The Monokuma file.
Or it's not necessarily that it wouldn't be two stabs, it's just that it would be... I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell either way.
Oh yeah, it sure did. I totally forgot about that.
Then the knife
was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward.
Yes.
They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
And if the knife was a plant, it makes no sense for me to plant evidence on it that incriminates myself.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic-level spontaneous combustion!
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
Okay, now we get the fragments.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh!
And whose idea was it to dismantle the Monokuma, by the way?
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Gonna be the arrows, right?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
We need to determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Gotta do the Monokuma file, right?
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't you because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
Well,
More
yes.
than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
Okay, we use the Monokuma file to
Then, shall we continue
contradict
the debate?
that. Right, because the Monokuma file specifically says that the wounds were like several days old.
Correct.
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't you because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
What? But it says. Right, I mean, it's not wrong that there were wounds, but the Monokuma file says that those wounds were at least several days old, so they weren't the cause of death. Like, that's what I was getting at there. Okay, let's see. Stabbed a single time with a knife. They had been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. Body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Okay.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion.
We can look at our exploded body analysis. Okay. And non-exploded body analysis. Corpse of mass covering the head. The white jacket covering the body. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen. There were blood stains on the wound. The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right?
Yeah, it wasn't because of the knife.
Then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the monitor...
Oh, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold on.
That's gotta be it.
Did it ever specify the back of the head? Oh, it's just the head. It's not the back of the head. It never specified. What? Excuse me? What the heck? Those are two very valid contradictions.
Then shall we continue the debate?
Okay.
The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. Yes.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
Or I guess, are we
It
just...
wasn't because of the knife, right?
I suppose what I'm supposed to be doing here, I'm probably not looking for,
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was
maybe just take the hit from the back of the head and then use that on the first statement.
And more than
Be like,
that,
no, we do know it's this.
the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body.
We have a different format from what they normally do with this, but okay. I'll
Then
bite.
shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be
I think my, okay. Not how that, okay.
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
Again, where does it specify back of the head? Like, honestly. Like, not that I think it's particularly relevant to the case, but this doesn't say back of the head, does it? Struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. It never says back of the head. Where are we getting back of the head? I think that's the only place it specifies the blow to the head, too.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Accidental omission, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
You know, you'd think for someone whose logical reasoning is so blunt, you'd know what blunt meant.
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with a metal end and call it an accident.
To be fair, it's not an unreasonable assumption that it, like, when I heard hit in the head, I immediately thought hit in the back of the head, because that's, you know, the kind of normal. I think that's the more lethal way to do it, but it's never explicitly specified. Which, you know, normally it doesn't matter, but in these sorts of, you know, mystery game things, you know, I mean, it's pretty common actually for details like that to end up being the, like, single thread you pull to, like, unravel the whole case. So, you really do need to be, like, very tight with your writing and making sure nothing is slipping by in these sorts of games.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground, and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Yes. And Kyoko's very silent right now. Yeah, it's gonna be the arrows, most likely.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kind of weird.
I guess.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
Still not quite sure where the tape comes in.
I'm not backtalking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
I don't know Hina for doubting it, because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret. Is this where the tape comes in? Yeah, seems like it.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be...
But how are the arrows described? Instead of titanium arrows was found in the dojo, they appear to be 10 in total. I guess technically we don't have any evidence that they were. Like, I mean, we heard titanium and thought, that must be a thing, but... I mean, you got a point, Tina, actually.
Talking back to Master. You have no right!
And the reason we suspect them is because they were found with the bloody duct tape.
The titanium arrow.
So I suppose we'll just reveal that detail.
Right?
What other things do we have?
That was the murder
Titanium, wood block,
Are you sure?
count.
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, cause in
And
the
titanium's
Monokuma
heavy.
file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thick.
Okay, it was the duct tape. Oh, he duct taped them together! Oh! Or she, or whoever killed him.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been
That's,
too
okay.
weak. That
Another weapon?
inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe.
Man, I knew the killer was a fascist! I knew it! That's a joke. You need a high IQ to understand that joke. Anyways.
And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
That's a lie! I met you in the dojo! Well, not like met for the first time, but we were in the dojo together, were we not?
Oh no, You absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto?
I assume you're referring to the key? But in theory, Kyoko didn't have access to her room at the time.
What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer.
No?
You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to. The death of us all, remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
I have evidence? Like I said, Kyoko went to the dojo? I mean, it's gonna be the woodblock key, right? Find Kyoko's room?
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
And Byakuya had the key to Kyoko's room this whole time.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't
So
you?
that seems like an odd thing for him to
No,
overlook.
It's not that I want to defend her. It's just... There's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean she... She knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue. Could that be when... Which would mean that Kyoko... He killed someone? For me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
Okay, well show us some evidence then, Kyoko, please. I'm begging you.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it.
Oh.
Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
What? Byakuya should know better than anyone? This is her bringing up by implication that Byakuya has the key to her room. What does that mean? Although I think I already know what the next step after this is, and I don't know how Kyoko survives it. Now, what is Byakuya's account? 'Cause that's probably going to be relevant. Let me look this up. Okay, Byakuya stated that there was no corpse in the garden just after night time last night, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that. Also, okay. That doesn't really do much for us. Those are words you just spoke, what do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker. and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Okay, so obviously
Those words you just spoke.
the
What do you mean?
thing we're going for here is that
Exactly what
Byakuya
I
had the
said.
key. The question is, what combination of evidence does that?
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Proof.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct?
I guess the key, the proof is that the locker key was in her room, right? The implication being she couldn't have put it there because she didn't have the key to her own room at the time.
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
But I think I already know what the next twist after
Exactly
this
what I
is,
said.
and I'm worried for
I'm
Kyoko.
not the killer.
We'll see.
You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, that's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Huh? Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself.
Well,
Am I wrong?
Kyoko,
it would appear not.
actually,
And you're finally starting to understand.
no, that's not actually true, Kyoko. I knew we would be going here. There was a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie? Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Was there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the Mastermind has laid for us. The Mastermind's trap. The Mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko? But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? Because obviously we have that evidence that she had the thing that unlocks every door. That's clearly the evidence that would contradict her. What should I? The Mastermind's trap. The victim was Mikuro, and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? If the evidence points to Kyoko, if she did kill her, then we have to convict. Otherwise we're all dead. Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? The Mastermind's trap? Could be such a... am I getting played? I could be getting played so hard here. You spent all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? I have to decide right here and now whether or not to expose Kyoko's lie. I can pursue the lie, let it go, or run away? Okay, generally speaking, I'm glad I'm not on the timer here, by the way. Okay, so generally speaking, I trust Kyoko. Like, of everyone in this game, like, ever since probably like chapter 2 or so, she's the one I've trusted the most. I feel like she's probably the only one actually capable of really getting us through this, if that's even a possibility. I forget if I did the right option here. Run away is an interesting option. How would that help? How would that help? Like, the issue is, all evidence here really does point to Kyoko. You know what? I've regretted in the past wanting to trust Kyoko, but not having the full choice to do so. I think Kyoko, you better not screw me here. I've made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here, something that has to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Well, does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
Okay.
But who else could it have been?
I know, Monokuma?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
What? Oh, hey, oh, excuse me. Did you not have eyes to see, Byakuya? It was right there on the table. It was obvious.
It had to be Makoto, right?
Hold on.
I don't see any other option.
No, it wasn't me. Look, if it...
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead, and then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Time's up? What the heck? We aren't even close.
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
Very pushy, Monokuma.
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you.
Voting time?
Please not me? What? What? Oh no. I think I may have made a terrible error. This doesn't feel like I got it right.
Now, who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Oh no. Well, congratulations on your win, Kyoko. What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Yes, sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it.
Yes, indeed.
Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. Hold on. You just say that regardless of what happens. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. This whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey.
It makes perfect sense.
Shing.
It's the same as always, and just like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Thrills, chills.
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment. Wait, why do I... Kyoko. Kyoko!
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Damn right it is. Kyoko.
Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
Game over. Makoto has been found guilty. Time for the punishment. Well. Alright, come on, just get off the desk. Get out of the desk, man. Come on. Or, I'm probably fastened there somehow. Kyoko, you'd better solve this thing. After school lesson. And I guess at least if I'm dying, I know that everyone else is still alive, so, you know. Is that maybe they can figure out a way out of this. Go stoicism. Excuse me? Huh? Was that just... What? Huh? I'm still falling into a massive pit. I'm probably still dead, but... What?